Here we are yet again at the We All Win podcast. Thank you so much for joining. Again, my name is Isaiah Grigg, and I am here with the magnificent, the incomparable, and the beautiful Miss Maria Conzatti, Dr. Maria Conzatti, who is the acting interim president for Nassau Community College. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you so much for the glory of all of that. I don't know that it's deserved.
Well deserved.
I appreciate it.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Listen, let's get straight into it, right? So, trendsetter, you've come in, you are the first woman
Correct.
interim president at Nassau Community College, and you are the first alumni
Correct.
of Nassau Community College. So bring me back to 1986. I didn't mean to put that out there.
No, you put it
Good.
out.
Okay.
All right.
Bring me back to 1986 where you're at Nassau Community College. You're there. You're like in it.
I'm in it.
Right. What is your mindset at that point? And did you ever in your wildest dreams foresee that this would be where you are right now?
The short answer, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's back up to before 86, because the context of that will give you an insight on how we got to 1986.
I'm excited.
Let's do it. And being at Nassau. So the first piece of breaking news is, my early years, I grew up in the Bronx, right? I grew up off the 6th line in the Bronx. And we boogie down. Where I grew up, we were all in the street playing stickball.
I love it.
There was, the intercom in my household was, multi-generational. Grandmother lived with us. Great grandmother lived with us. Multi-family house. The intercom was people screaming up and down the street. I'm going to use an old school word.
That's definitely the Bronx.
We will all hang out on the stoop. There's an old word for folks.
Right.
And that was it. It was just the community. And that was the beginning.
Shout out to the boogie down.
We, my dad, I'm the daughter of an immigrant, so I'm first gen on top of it. So my dad was taking the train out to Long Island to work in the construction industry at the time. So given the opportunity, they bought a shack of a house and we moved out here, and the extended family moved with us. Yep. So great grandma came with us. With it, and we moved to Long Island, and I'm looking going, where are all the people? What is this cultural shift?
We replaced them with trees, insects, and animals.
And a lot less concrete, because I grew up in the concrete, and I was used to that culture where everybody was just out and about. Everybody ate in each other's houses. There was none of this. So I can remember early on driving. We live in West Hempstead. I still live in West Hempstead. Although the president does get a house, that's not what I use it for. Okay. So I'm still in the community in West Hempstead. And I remember at a young age my mom driving down Stewart Avenue, and I would look at all those big glorious houses that are still there and thinking, does anybody live here? Yeah. What is this? So that was the first cultural shift for me. I would say the second cultural shift was, going to school out here, high school, and at some point being told that I was poor. So the adage of you don't know you're poor until somebody says you're poor, because that was never a thought for me. And now we get into 1986 and going to Nassau, because once I realized I was poor, for me, it was a normal course that my dad worked 2 jobs. And my mom was a housewife doing the best that she could. Nowadays we have kitschy words for things like food insecurity. Yeah. In my day, it was we ate pasta 3 nights a week, but I didn't know any better. That's kind of what you did. So then became the thought process of there's got to be a better way. Like, I don't know that I like this label of poor. So how do I change it? How do I help my parents? How do I make things better for me and the people around me? So I'm in high school. And again, back then they didn't have a lot of the mentoring programs that we have now. And I think, all right, I'm going to go to college. And I went to my father, and my father, again, immigrant, and his culture, he started working on a farm when he was 12. Born, lived in Italy, worked in slate mines at a very early age. And when I said I wanted to go to college, he looked at me and was like, I'm not spending my hard-earned money sending you to college. Like, well, you're a girl, you're going to get married and have babies, and then there goes my money. And that's legit what he said to me. And I thought to myself, damn. And no. Right?
Hard pass on that.
So yeah, there's a hard pass on that. And here's where you get the Maria from the Bronx of, there's got to be a way for me to do this. So I applied to colleges anyway. Mm-hmm. I had a scholarship to Penn State, but couldn't afford it because I knew it was me, and me. So here I come to Nassau Community College in the month of August. Mm. And I picked a major at the time. The preview to computer science these days and computers in the 80s was information processing. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, that's an up and coming career. Yeah. I'm going for that. And I was fortunate enough to be offered a job on campus, which we still do today. We spend about $500,000 employing our students on campus.
Awesome.
And I took a job on campus and came to realize, although I had my family, that there were people there that understood, had similar backgrounds, similar stories, and were there to help. And that was the beginning of it.
That's amazing. I mean, we could really we could sit in that story for so much. I think what stands out to me, number one, from what I'm hearing, the interaction with your dad was really, from what I'm hearing, and I'm obviously going to get to a lot, but that was one of the quintessential defining moments of you saying, as a woman, I deserve and want more.
You got that right.
And it's from someone who has two daughters. Yes.
Don't say that to your daughters. Please don't say that to your daughters.
I will.
But you're right.
That was such a defining moment. Talk to me about what went into the feeling of that.
I think at 17, to process it, I found it insulting. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, you're supposed to be my father. What kind of an answer is that? And it really led to, even today, we don't have the best of rapports. We don't. That was a break point for me. People often say to me, they'll see my mom at events at the college, and I bring her all the time to it because she tends to be everybody's mom and she takes pride in that. And you rarely see my dad. I think even if you ask my dad today what I do for a living, he would say she works at the college. Mm. So that was really a break point in our rapport. My dad's 83 now. And we live in one household. And as we all find out, the roles change when we get older, right? The reversal of that. You end up taking care of your parents as your parents took care of you. So the ongoing joke in my household with my mom is she'll every once in a while look at my dad and say, you better pray to God that I don't die first. So that was a long lasting damage point that still exists.
And in a world like we're living in today, where obviously we know the trigger words, right? And they are relevant and they have a lot of life. But how many of us leaders are carrying those weights into these high profile decisions and opportunities that we have? How much of that do you believe has altered your trajectory in terms of, because for me, in a different fashion, the unfortunate reality for me, I did not have a father figure that really pressed upon me ambition and really took what they would hopefully have seen in me and tried to nurture and cultivate that. In that sense, I had someone who talked down to me and said I'd never amount to anything, and really just tore down what I saw could be my future. Right. And for a large part of my life, all the accomplishments that I had the anchor that in my mind, I was always trying to prove him wrong. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I got to a certain age and said, I can't be happy with my accomplishments because they're so still tied to you. Right. So how in your, I didn't even think we were going to go here so early in the conversation, but we're here. It's because I think it's important for those in both our positions at that age to understand it's okay to have ambition, but sometimes it can be an unhealthy one as well.
Yeah.
Right. And is that something you can relate to, or in terms of now in your adulthood, obviously many moons ago, that situation happened, but have you seen that has kind of made its way into kind of how you've moved, even in your decision making as a leader?
It absolutely does. I am very much making sure that our young ladies have every opportunity they have. Mm-hmm. So when I get involved in organizations and take things on, it's at 150%. It's clearly an overcompensation for me to shield these young ladies from what I had. And I recognize that. It also drives much of the decision making and where the college is going. Mm. There's no question. Daughter of an immigrant, with what's happening in the world today, do walk around that 225 acres. Do not. So it drives a lot. I'm mentoring young ladies from neighboring colleges at the 4-year level. Mm-hmm. I got involved with the Moxie Foundation. They're an excellent organization, and took that on this year again. It goes back to that whole rapport and instilling in them that you can do what your mind sets you to do, and how to balance that. It also, for me, has built in a great deal of humility for me in realizing that you didn't get here by yourself. Right. And you have got to find a way every day to give back.
I hear that. And so Nassau Community Colleges, and via your leadership, has really evolved, right? Yeah. Exponentially.
For sure.
Right. And that's from departmental breakdown, infrastructure, course, workforce development, things of that nature. Yep. Talk to me about some of the thought process that went into not only facilitating the evolutions over these years, but I guess what is your goal and what is your vision, right, for the college moving forward, and where do you believe it can be positioned, not only on Long Island, but in those who are looking to hopefully move to Long Island, right, to attain a set education?
For me, it's pretty simple. It's 2 C's. We're living, community, and comprehensive. That's the easiest way to do it. Community, because we are the local community college. So programmatically, we have opened the campus up to host events on the campus, to bring the community in, on that level, to be involved and engaged in where we can support the community. Comprehensive I've really met with many superintendents to say, what do you need from the college? What do you need us to be? A lot of it was, listen, it's great if you want an associate's degree. What if you want to be a plumber or a welder? I need you, Marie, to add vocational education. Not everybody has the time, money, or drive to do that. And fortunate for us, we got $5 million from SUNY, invested in us. We took our old engineering building. We are morphing that building into a vocational center. We're adding construction management. We're adding welding and HVAC.
That's awesome.
In response to what our superintendents are telling us from the districts, with the option of pathing that experience into a degree program should they choose. So we're creating really educational pipelines for these students, so they've got options.
Yeah. And with anything that's evolutionary, there's always, it's going to be met with some pushback, right? There's going
to be always pushback.
And I know that in the past there's been some friction with regards to the direction of the campus, direction of your strategies, right? And pushing through some of the noise of that while maintaining the integrity of what we're actually here to do, right? Because a lot of, even in my position, a lot of what I believe I tried to do, and hopefully successfully, is that keep the perspective clear and always have the mission be the anchor.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you can get, especially in nonprofit work, right? You're either chasing the next grant.
Yep.
Right. You're chasing
All
the
day,
next
every day.
opportunity. You're chasing something, right? You're dealing with the nuances of what's happening in the world, whether that's the administration, whether that's local government. There's always something that you're dealing with, and the mission can get lost. Right. You're dealing with your own personal stuff. You're dealing with staff. So, how did you maintain, your footing, but also maintain a certain momentum to achieving said goals, having had to go through some of those hurdles with even faculty and staff that you ultimately had to lead at the same time?
Yeah. I think for me, it's really bringing it back to center.
Yeah.
It's about and for the students. Simple fact.
Yeah.
You can put out kitschy words, mission statements, all kinds of things, which we're required to do.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line, it's for and about students.
Yeah.
That's what you're here for. And who knows more about what they need than they do.
Right.
And the greatest thing about our students in the community is if you ask, they will tell you.
I love that. Right. All you do is ask a question.
That's all I do. I put them in front of students. I encourage my administrators to teach if they can, and they're qualified to do it. I still teach.
Yes.
Because how do you lead if you do not know what's happening with these kids?
And as leaders, there's nothing wrong with being brilliant and highly educated, but there's also nothing wrong with going back to the foundations of asking a simple question.
Agreed. And it's that simple.
And sometimes that's what makes you the most intelligent person in the room.
Well said.
Right. By understanding, I don't have to be so creative and so, I have actually a joke with my daughter. She's 16 and we're picking colleges now.
Ah, yeah.
My life.
Oh, I do.
Yes. And, we have this running joke because this is not an advertisement for Johns Hopkins, right? But that is the school that I would love her to go to.
Uh-huh.
Put it out there. And she is like, that's awesome, sir. But no. Right. And she's loves Howard. Right. So shout out to Howard. And she's going for pediatric psychiatry. Right. So number one, you're going to be in school for a very long time. Right. She'll be fine, but she's going to be in school for a very long time. And so the running joke is, dad only has veto power on one thing. Right. And that one thing is if you do land a scholarship and that scholarship in that area is viable to what you like to do in the world, it has the community that you can find value in. Right. It's safe. Okay. And it's comfortable. You're going, my love. Right. Because number one, I don't want you to leave school with a mountain of debt.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want you to enjoy your experience without the need of finances and worrying about this. I didn't have that experience. So, she always looks at me and she's like, listen, man. And she says that we have that relationship. So we'll be chit chatting, she's like, listen, man. And she calls me daddish. I don't know where that came from, but daddish. She said, hey, daddish, I know you said you have veto power, but since I'm not allowing you to pay for my college education, shouldn't it all be me? I said, you like to think so. You like to think so. However, I kind of been there, done that. So I kind of know what you're about to walk into. Right. And then the joke is she comes back and she says to me, well, I'm sorry, I may have veto power on that. And I'm like, yeah, you don't, but okay, you can think you do. I say that to say in my little story is that even when you're teaching and you're dealing with students and you have to switch hats from becoming the administrator to the educator. Okay. How do you balance even what you incorporate into your learning via real world experiences, while not inadvertently giving them too much of the real to where it almost can not pacify them, but almost stunt their growth.
Yeah. For me, it's putting them in real life situations as much as I can.
Mm.
So if I can bring that into the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
if I can I happen to teach in the engineering program.
Okay.
If I can bring real world engineers in, if I can bring scenarios
Mm-hmm.
to them, I put them on the path.
Okay.
And if I can get them on the path, they'll walk that path and they'll come to the realization on their own.
Yeah.
You can only guide students of today. If you tell them, they will absolutely resist.
So what do you say to that parent now that has a student that is undecided, okay, about their direction? And in today's world, the trades are making a comeback,
Mm-hmm.
right? And post-pandemic, a lot of decision-making has changed and the value of education has definitely changed.
Absolutely.
Right. So if there is a parent who is talking with their student, they're saying, listen, I don't necessarily need to go to a 2 or 4 year school. I'm going to hit the workforce. I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm going to be good. Do you agree with that sentiment? Or do you say, I understand, but you should still go to a 2 or 4 year institution because of what I know as administrator has to offer? Or how do you balance? Because I hear a lot of that decision being made now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is it viable for me, or does it even make sense, whether I can afford it or not, to go spend 2 years when I could be working right now?
Right. For me, I really say to parents, let's start with the end game.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you 10 years from now? How much are you making?
Yeah.
What does that life look like for you?
Mm.
And when you sit with somebody that's 17 and now they're 27, where are you? Are you married? Are you not? Are you still on Long Island? Not.
Mm.
Let's take your path. Where are you now?
Yeah.
Let's take my path. Where are you now?
Yeah. And have they thought that far?
When you sit with them
Yeah.
and ask them to think forward
Mm-hmm.
and then back up, again, it's the concept of putting them in the path. It's planting the seed
Mm-hmm.
so that there's a thought.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they've got to have skin in the game and make the decision.
Skin in the
They don't make it and you make it.
Yeah.
It will be, you told me to do this and now I failed at it.
Yeah. I love that you said that, skin in the game. I love that because I believe in anything, you have to have skin in the game at any capacity, whether or not you're a student, employee, or employee.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a shared value.
Absolutely.
Right. In order to get maximum output and efficiency, and even effectiveness of your being there. So the institution in and of itself, you've been really hitting the pavement when it comes to fundraising.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, galvanizing millions and millions of dollars, not only for infrastructural changes, but for programmatic as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what has gone into, especially in today's landscape where, it's sometimes slim pickings.
Oh yeah.
Right. Even at the highest levels of attaining said funding to match your goals and vision for the institution.
Yeah. I think it's very targeted.
Yeah.
And it's really based on what we're hearing from the community, right? We all know healthcare on Long Island is going to be a big deal.
Yes.
How do I get programs off the ground now and really create what we call an employment pipeline?
Yeah.
So for me, everything's starting at what's the end game? So if the end game is to get a student employed,
yes,
I'm already engaging the hospital systems across the board saying, okay, tell me what the program looks like that I need to create
right,
where you're involved now.
right,
So I can say to a student, when you're done, you're automatically employed. And you're going to tell me in writing that you're going to do that.
I love it.
And that's what we've done. It's very systematic.
Mhm.
And again, the conversation starts with the end game, not with a promise to a student. Well, you could be employed here.
Yes.
You could consider getting a job there. It's no, you come into this program,
Right.
you do your part, I do mine. And in the end, you're working for Northwell. You're working for Mount Sinai.
Yeah.
You're working for Catholic Health Systems. you're done.
Yeah.
All you need to do is finish.
Wow. Now, do you see that obviously partnerships are a big deal with that? Well, a better question is, what sectors do you believe are the most prominent in that? I know you mentioned healthcare, but what other sectors, if someone's making a decision, even if they don't understand where they want to go or what field they want to go into yet, but based upon that in-game scenario, hey, this is what we know we can do in the right now, and we know we can give you a very definitive landscape and pathway. What would you say are the pathways that you're seeing the focus should be on for right now?
The four, and it's interesting, the four largest enrollments that we have are, and I think it's going to be surprising to some parents, liberal arts, which I know right out of the gate, parents are like, what is liberal arts? What are they going to do with that degree? What is that going to mean? So liberal arts is one, criminal justice, the nursing and allied health science areas, and business in general. A lot of interest in entrepreneurship. Students today want to do it themselves. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to open businesses. It's one of the reasons, and again, very systematic. We have now all the chambers of commerce.
Nice.
We gave them some space on our campus, and they are now housed at Nassau Community College. There's no better way for me to give a student who's interested in business but doesn't know what than to have them integrate with the chambers.
Yeah. So how would you prepare a high school to prepare their students for your institution? So if we're saying no particular district, right? But if we're saying, hey, this is how we need, or the preparedness of said student in 12th grade, by the time they get there, this is what we know they need to be prepared with prior to getting here, not just academics. I'm talking about soft skills, transferable, social emotional learning. What is your ideal customer profile, okay, when it comes to a student at Nassau Community?
I don't know that there's an ideal profile, because we're prepared to help any student across the board with whatever it is. And again, having lived it myself, their background and experience for that 17 years is going to make an impact. The question is it positive, negative? Yeah. And how do we help drive it in a direction that leads to ultimate success? I would say there are some districts already that are really offering very strategically within their curriculum pathways of interest.
Yes.
The earlier a student can explore even what they don't want. Yes. What they don't want is just as important to me as what they do want, because it narrows the playing field for them. So there are districts that are already doing that. You can take tracks within the high schools, which is awesome. And again, I will say to parents all the time, the fact that your son or daughter or loved one knows they don't want this, that's a win as much as they do. The other thing that the high schools can also take advantage of, we have what we call dual enrollment programs, where the high schools are empowered to teach our curriculum early on. So they begin to gain the skills and start performing at a college level already. And when you empower them to do that, that really begins to have them think, because you're already getting college credit and you're still in high school.
What does a partnership like that look like, or how is it facilitated between Nassau and a high school?
District gets a hold of the college. It comes out of our admissions. We have an assistant vice president in our admissions area, who will talk to, the principal normally. What areas are you interested in? What classes are you interested in? We will get the resumes of the teachers in the high schools to make sure they are qualified to teach our courses, because we have minimum teaching qualifications. Once we've done that, we set it up with the high schools, and we are off. And more districts are on board with that. And again, talk about skin in the game. These students are earning college credits. They're still in high school. It also helps a lot of the districts where some of these students are looking for upper level calculus and physics courses, and they don't have the faculty on staff to do that. We're providing that and supplementing that. And students are coming in with advanced credits already towards a degree.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously Music Breeds being the organization that I run, and we are arts heavy.
Yep.
Right. So I can't not have this conversation with you.
Please do.
And not talk about the arts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we know it, and it's been historically notated that the arts are always on the chopping block.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When it comes to the viability of said programs, expansion, opportunities, adding in different components. And that's where Music Breeds has found a lot of success,
Mm-hmm.
and that we supplement and bridge the gap between some of those lacks. What is Nassau Community looking to do or already doing to further the arts, to enhance the arts, provide more opportunity and pathways within the arts at your institution?
Well, this gives me a great opportunity. So when we looked at, the degree programs that our students were interested in, mm-hmm. right, and all of the State University of New York systems, as the colleges are going through it, as we say, with higher ed and the worth of a degree, we looked at the arts and humanities, and there were certainly a couple of degree programs that students were no longer interested in.
Okay.
So when we looked at the numbers, clearly there wasn't a need for the degree program. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that created some angst because automatically people think if you get rid of the degree, then you get rid of the discipline. Mm-hmm. We did not. We have not. We will not.
I appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you. Okay.
So for students that come in, and let's say they want to do the theater and arts, mm-hmm. just because the degree program isn't there doesn't mean we don't have a liberal arts AA track for them. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we make sure then that even though the degree isn't on the books under the liberal arts AA, which is the arts and humanities track, that we've got articulation agreements, which are transfer agreements with all the 4-year schools that have the programs.
Right.
So in effect, we've just kind of moved the cap and degree with which the student is under. But the disciplines, we have not gotten rid of any disciplines at the college.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's really our preservation of all of that. We still have a full complement of music courses, the arts, the humanities. It's all still there. It's rearranged into what we call a divisional structure. Mm. And that's really about the student coming in not knowing. Okay. I know I want something in the allied health science and nursing areas. I don't know what. Mm. Well, that's fine. They're all together in one divisional structure. I know I want something in the arts. Yeah. I don't know why. Well, they're all under one divisional structure.
And that structure that you're speaking about didn't always exist.
It did not. That was a painful transition for the college, and certainly for the faculty. Yeah. Not really understanding after being really structured the same for 65 years. But that was really in response to the college becoming what we call a guided pathways institution. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's 4 pillars to guided pathways. Again, all student focused. You get them on a path. You keep them on a path. Mm-hmm. You make sure that all the instruction and everything is geared towards their success and its ultimate completion of a degree and whatever their hopes and dreams are. Awesome. It's real simple. But to take an institution that has functioned the same way for 65 years and its faculty and staff and morph it in a very short period of time is a painful process.
Change is hard, right? At any level. So one question that I like to ask, and actually ask this often in even our interviews, is what to you is the difference between leadership and management?
I think, for leadership is really being able to wade through those really rough times and really have the compassion to understand people's perspective and let them go through the process of grieving in some way, because change is hard. Yeah. And to understand that that's going to happen. And at times people may want to make it personal to you, and that's okay. but to know and appreciate that you have to go through that. Anybody can manage anybody and do things by the book, and well, too bad.
Now, is that your leadership style?
My leadership style is really, I'm not a micromanager, but I will get into the weeds if I need to. And I'm very much, if I say it's green, it's green. And if I say it's blue, it's blue. I'm not interested in, I tend to swim black or white.
Yeah.
Gray is my least favorite color.
I hear that.
I don't want to mislead people, and I don't want to make promises I can't keep. But again, very much driven by my experiences as a student. If there's one thing I can say is, what drives where the college is going and the vision that you asked for, it's me is that 17-year-old kid sitting in my office, watching the students on campus and thinking, you were them. Yeah. And here's your shot to make sure that they experience and have every opportunity to do what you did.
Yeah. I appreciate that. It actually is a great segue because I want to learn more about you, right? So down to the simplest things, ask a few questions to you. Okay.
You got it.
All right. It's called Power Hour here.
Okay. You got it.
Okay. Favorite music?
Disco.
Really?
Oh my God.
Really?
I am an 80s girl from here. Oh, I absolutely did. Absolutely. I think people are very surprised at what I listen to. I have a car. It's a college vehicle, and they get in, and I remember somebody, who was on a physical plant gassing up my car, and he came in and he looked at me and he goes, Prez, you listen to 107.5? Like, what the hell are you? And I said, why would you think not? And he looked at me and I said, so now you know.
No, you don't.
Now you know.
I was about to say, I'm going to tell Sam to get you some glow sticks and we can kind of give
Please, I had Shaka Khan in my car and he was like, she's what? I'm like, do you know where I grew up? Like, what do you?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Favorite hobby?
I would say for me, if you put me on a beach with a book, I'm good. It's just the simple things.
Just
hardcover
calm of it all.
That's it. Because, I deal with a lot of people all day. And if you just sit me there, beach chair and an old fashioned hardcovered book, I'm good.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing for folks to get. Like, why don't you want to go to Rome?
No.
Less people, the better.
No.
Like, are you kidding me? I don't know.
Yeah. If
you put me in a room with a massage chair, a remote that may or may not work, right? Right? And just say, hey, you got the next day to yourself. Thank you so much. And when I get out of that room, I'm good for the next 2 years. Right? It's just that simple. Okay, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. What was the best vacation you ever had, though?
Caribbean island. I'm a sun and sand girl.
Yeah.
Sun and sand. That's it. Just put me in sun and sand and I'm good.
So, and you mentioned it, and this is still in my little powwow, but how do you manage your work-life balance?
Badly.
Yeah.
Badly.
I don't synonymous with leadership.
Yeah. There is no, I mean, I think, I sit through this and I'm asked as how do you deal with that work-life balance? And I'm like, I don't. There is no work-life balance. There really isn't.
Yeah.
It really is for and about the college 24/7. Even in the weekends, I'm dressed and our colors are, navy blue and orange.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dressed in Nassau gear on the weekends. I have people stop me, and again, I may not look like the president on the weekends with my hair in a clip with no makeup on, run around. And my mother will say to me, you didn't go out looking like that? I'm like, yeah. I barely have time sometimes to have my roots dyed. My hairdresser looks at me and goes, you can't go out looking like that. What's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't have time. I was like, when I get here, I get here. And this poor woman comes in at night to do my roots because I don't have the time. But there isn't. When you're dealing with the community, you're either in it or you're not.
You're either in it or not.
And I'm in it. and I'm committed to it.
I
So if I'm recycling bottles and somebody says, "Are you?" I'm like, "Yeah. How can I help?" That's an automatic. How can I help? Because if you're asking who I am, then there's a need.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have the conversation. So there's no work-life balance. I'm the worst at that.
Yeah. And I agree. Because I think there's a misconception sometimes that I think it goes both ways. People see, and social media, there's a whole bunch of stuff right out there. And it can get confusing to folks because they come into leadership thinking it should be one way.
Right.
Right. And then they find out that it's a 180 from what they anticipated it to be.
For sure.
And I tell people all the time, and I know my engine, right? I know when I think I need to take a minute, right? I feel it. My body tells me, my mind, I get moody.
Yeah.
Right. I start, and I know enough about myself to know that when I'm in those moments, I make decisions quickly, and that's not my MO.
Right.
Right. So I know I need to take a step back and go recalibrate. But even when I do that, I'll have people say, "Oh, take a break." I don't have time to take a break.
Nope.
I don't have time to take a break. Go away for a week or two. Do you know what my life will be like when I come back for a week? Are you nuts?
Okay.
It's like, I don't think so. I'll have to redo this whole organization. I come back in 2 weeks. Are you nuts? Like, no, that's not how this works. And that notion of 24/7, 365 is sometimes unfathomable.
Yeah.
And the ones who take their family, friends, you don't always show up, your relationships are strained.
Yep.
And that is a part of the job.
It is.
And you have to accept that when, number one, you decide you want to reach a certain level. And then when you actually get there, it becomes a reality. As we're kind of coming to the close here, but I really want to give space to speak to those, kind of bringing it back to the center now, those who want to be where you are, whatever that path might have been for them. But those who want to be where you are, achieve the heights, the accolades, the awards, the championing for, BIPOC, Black and Brown, and those who are underserved and those who are disenfranchised, all the work that you do day in and day out. What do you say to that individual, right? When they're feeling this is not attainable and reachable for me. This is not something that because I came from this community, or I came from this cultural dialect, or I came from this area, or whatever their barrier or vicissitude is. What do you say to that individual trying to get to that next level?
I'm going to share with you what my mother said to me early on. And I didn't really believe it or come to understand it until I was probably mid-40s. God puts you on a path. You may not understand that path or what he puts in front of you, but there is a reason why. Stay the course and stay the path. If you have a minute, reflect and try to understand it. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But know that you're on that path. I had no idea, taking a job on campus at 17, that one day I would be in the position to make a difference.
Wow.
But given the shot, I'm going to do my best because he put me here for a reason.
I hear that. I love that. And if you had to finish the sentence, we all win. When?
We all win when we help and support one another.
I love that. I love it. Well, Dr. Maria Conzatti, thank you so much. This has been an amazing experience, very insightful as well, and inspiring. For those who are watching, this was not necessarily just a conversation to talk about the nuances of collegiate education and systems and infrastructure. This was about learning from a high level leader, some of the pain points, some of the context behind some of the things that outsiders might not realize of the decisions that you've made, right? Giving space and to the fact that you are public facing, but you are human.
Yeah.
Right. That you have needs, you have desires, you have goals that you haven't even probably reached that you still want to get to. And that in all of that, there is a process. There's definitely a calling and a purpose, as you alluded to. And there's a driving engine that we want each one of you to learn and investigate about yourself. And the more you ask questions and become curious, right, about the things that you, number one, do not know, but also about the things that you're seeking to achieve, it opens up a door, and I believe a portal to a realm and a place that you never knew existed for yourself. Okay. And you are living proof of that, because at 17 on campus, you didn't know that portal was going to open.
Nope.
Where here you sit today, not only a trendsetter, but a revolutionary in the collegiate infrastructural and educational space. And kudos to you, number one. And for those, again, who are aiming to reach those same heights in their own capacity, in their own way, it's not just about the accomplishment, it's about the journey.
Absolutely.
And the more you understand the journey and respect the journey, nurture the journey, learn from the journey, there's no place you can't go. So thank you so much again for being here. This was fun.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm very excited about everything that's going on at Nassau Community College. And if there's any last words that you want to say, or you're good to go?
I'm good to go, but no, there's always somebody out there to help.
Yeah, I love that. But thank you all for watching.